Are we live?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. My thing still doesn't say live. That's why I was asking.
Oh, it says live over here.
All right, then let's do it. I won't believe mine.
Ryan will have to do some editing.
This the War Report coming live every Tuesday.
That's how you know we're live.
With Steve, Cat, Ryan, Amanda, and Eric. And the voice of NEW, Vince Berry. Hitting all the topics like a clothesline flurry. Turn up your speakers and hear them out. You can listen from your car, even on your couch. They too raw, who NXT? Handing out Smackdowns, follow on IG. Plus, it's sponsored by Tag Me a Date. Go to YouTube and sub now for every update. It's all wrestling here. No safe space, now listen in. Time to hear from some of the greats.
One and only.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the War Report, brought to you by TagMeADate.com, the first and only dating site exclusively for fans of professional wrestling. We've got a lot to talk about. I've cracked a White Claw. Claws up, everybody. Hard spiked cider.
What is that?
It's alcoholic seltzer.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's the,
We do have a lot to cover.
Oh my God. First of all, our buddy Ricochet going from Browntown to the Penthouse in just a week. He is now the U.S. champion.
I gotta tell you, I am so mentally torn, but in a good way. But I'm very torn because, for me, I'm so happy for Ricochet. You and I have seen him, prior to the big time.
He's phenomenal. Yeah, he's always.
I remember telling us having conversations years ago that this guy was going to be huge one day, and look at him now. So I'm so happy for him, and he deserves it. On the other side, Joe needs a solid run with the title.
Yes,
he's becoming a paperweight champion, and it's really starting to suck because, let's face it, he was handed this title, and then his first defense he loses. So I'm kind of torn because I love Joe. I'm happy as hell for Ricochet, but it's, for me, it was a win-win in a way. So but
yeah, it was bittersweet because you want to see Ricochet succeed, but Joe had to drop the title, even though he flipped it with Ray a couple times real quick, and now he flipped it with Ricochet real quick. And just as fast as he was in the U.S. title picture, he's now in the World Championship picture.
And how is that going to go? Because everything
how do you think
it's not going to be Joe winning the title? So
unless
they
the
change that around,
thing, man, Joe needs a win, and then you look at all the champions and you go, none of these. They all need wins.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Well, and you can't have it all. Listen, before we get deep into everything, I want to kind of make a quick little announcement. And this is something that I just found out recently, and I've waited until we're live on the air, so you guys have no idea either. And coming soon, I'm putting something together. We have, at tagmeadate.com, we have our first success story. Not only becoming a couple through our website, but engaged to get married. And it was through tagmeadate.com, and I am working out the details, but I think I'm going to have possibly the couple, if not just one of them, coming onto the podcast to share their story. And they're going to get me some pictures, not only of them at wrestling events, but they're going to send us wedding pictures, and they're going to do a testimonial for us. So it's very exciting. And once I work out all the details, I'll be more specific, using names and things of that nature, and then we'll promote when they're going to be on the podcast to kind of tell us their story. But it's very cool and exciting to see and legitimize Tag Me a Date. So it does work, folks.
Yep.
We've had some things. We've had some issues. The apps are out. Android just had a massive update, so that should be running smooth. Apple, we're just working out a couple things with Apple to get the next update approved, which if anyone knows, Apple takes a little bit longer, but it's a good thing. We'll get that approved and we'll get that out, and then we should be ready to really be full throttle with the apps, and it's just very exciting news. So I just wanted to share that with everybody to kick off the show. And
where are they from?
They're from the Northeast. So they're in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts area. I'm going to be a little more specific once I get everything put together, and I want to make sure that they're okay with me kind of broadcasting everything first. Because in this day and age, I got to dot those I's and cross those T's.
Some minor address.
And especially now that we're really starting to move along and we're on all these other platforms and we're getting more promotion and getting out there, it's the right thing to do. So, but soon enough, I will have tons of details, and I'm very excited.
I cannot get the smile off my face now.
That is wonderful news. And again, if you're a new listener, finding us through SoundCloud or any of the other services, the Google Play podcast source, soon to be the iTunes podcast app as well. Thank you for listening. Share it with your friends. Let people know if you're a wrestling fan. There's some resources for you. I know there's a lot of wrestling podcasts out there. A lot of them are run by pro wrestlers or former commentators or what have you, and they're all very successful. And there's a reason for that because, they're in the business. But we are fans from the beginning. So it's great to get the inside perspective of somebody of that stature. But I like, like the OSW Review podcast. I'll give them a plug because they're great guys. I've worked with them before. They're fans, just like us. We're fans. We're presenting a different kind of product, like the Lapsed Fan and some other ones, formerly Law. I forget what their name is now, but I like the fan interaction. We put our stuff out on social media. We get input. We get emails and tweets and all that. So, that's why I prefer our format here. Not that I don't listen to 83 Weeks and everything else, but I like what we're doing here because it's fan to fan.
And we like to get the fans involved. We want to hear your opinions. We want to hear your questions and comments. And we even give you an opportunity for a free entry into WrestleRumble's Pickem contest, whatever it is. This case being Extreme Rules Pickem. So you send it in, and you have a chance for a free entry. And there's always great gifts. And Amanda will go into details with that later on in the show. But it's just it's a great opportunity to get yourself out there and be a part of the show. What was that, Amanda? I'm sorry.
We haven't came up with the prize list just yet for Extreme Rules.
Well, there you go. So coming soon, another reason to check us out, because maybe
it should be a Roosevelt's gift card, so we can get one of those sweet shirts that you've got.
Yeah, seriously.
Roosevelt's actually has Macho Man there. They've got an Ultimate Warrior one, all kinds of stuff. So, and they also have general American, they've got Teddy Roosevelt and some other American history ones too. But the wrestling ones are pretty cool.
That wrestling one is pretty awesome.
It is pretty badass.
I mean, it would look fucking terrible on me because I'm a fat slob, but it looks great on. That's why Amanda models all the stuff. She's the best looking one out of them.
This is why we created Tag Me a Day, so schlubs like us can get
exactly, and it worked. I mean, I'm not saying our guy is a schlub. He's definitely not. I'm sure he's a fine gentleman. I'm just saying it actually worked. This is great.
Yeah.
This is everything I wanted it to be.
Great news.
Just bring people together, and it doesn't even have to end up in marriage or this and that. It could just be finding people that love it and that want to, oh shit, we live close. Let's meet up at a show. And that's what it's all about, the camaraderie and celebrating the fact that we're wrestling fans, because it's an acquired taste, especially nowadays, because the true fans have to sit through some torturous weeks of wrestling sometimes. Although I have to say that WWE Stomping Grounds, in my opinion, was a pretty damn good pay-per-view. I think every match kind of delivered. The only other thing I say to myself is, were the expectations that low that it wasn't that hard to get blown away? But I I did enjoy the pay-per-view. I did not have high expectations. But if you go back and you watch it, even the end, everyone, Lacey Evans is the special referee, and everyone's like, oh, but at the end of the day, it made perfect sense.
Yeah.
For the story, it made sense. The fact that Seth Rollins was not going to beat her ass with a chair, and then to bring Becky out and officially really broadcast their relationship on TV now. It wound up, it was cool. It seemed to work. And I think every match in its own way kind of delivered. I mean, Ricochet, Samoa Joe, I honestly did not think Ricochet was going to win. I really thought they were going to give Joe a run. And, but by any means am I disappointed. I'm very happy. And I think he's going to kick ass. I think he's going to do well.
For sure.
Do we have the actual run of what were the I mean, I don't remember exactly every match but I know they were all good.
Don't worry, nobody remembers.
Right.
The kickoff was the cruiserweights.
Right, we actually have a new cruiserweight champion.
I missed it, but I heard it was amazing. I heard it was a really good match.
I missed the whole show because I was at a concert.
Yeah, I wasn't around for the pre-show, but I watched the rest of the show. I was a little late, so I started it late.
I didn't see the pre-show. I only saw the main show.
Becky
But I
Lynch.
did hear they kicked ass.
Yeah. And Drew Gulak is such a different cruiserweight because he's more of a mat wrestling guy. He's not a high flyer, so it's interesting to see with that no-fly zone gimmick he was doing in the PowerPoint presentations and all that, as to what is he going to do now that he has the title? How is he going to try and change 205 Live?
Division great again or something.
Right.
For
a better 205 Live or whatever it was. That'll be interesting. Becky Lynch beat Lacey Evans in a match that I could only say was saved by the fact that Becky Lynch is like a 20-year pro at wrestling. She was barking spots at Lacey Evans loud enough where John Cena and Triple H would go, hey, maybe quiet down a little bit. But I want to like Lacey Evans. I just don't. I don't care about Lacey Evans. I just don't. And the wrestling is not there. Her wrestling is not there. If the wrestling was there, I'd feel a little bit better about it. But right now, she comes off like a Walmart brand Liberty Bell from Glow, and she's like pulling off like a knockoff Sunny knockoff Liberty Bell thing. And I don't know. I'm not into that. I
don't think she's that terrible. I really don't.
I call her Savannah Barbie. I call her
Savannah Barbie.
I don't mind her character. I
hate
her character. I just don't like her wrestling.
I can't listen to her talk. I can't shut it off.
Well, you live in the South, so this must be like some kind of triggering thing.
Yeah, but I'm in Raleigh, though. That's a pretty progressive area.
It's more of a Savannah thing. There's been a murder. Oh man. Yeah, I am not jazzed at all about this Lacey Evans Baron Corbin fucking power couple deal.
That is a match I do not care for seeing.
Oh jeez.
I don't know. I kind of think it'll be cool seeing Becky and Seth wrestling as a team.
Sure, but I would rather
better people than I might be interested.
Yeah, I'd rather have Chris Benoit give Bowflex lessons live on the network rather than watch Lacey Evans and fucking Baron Corbin tag together.
I'd rather them fight like Charlotte and Andrade or something.
Right, that would be interesting. Well, Andrade's mother passed away, and then like a day later, his aunt passed away.
His aunt passed away, right?
Yeah,
that's crazy, dude.
I feel right after one. That's and unfortunately, if they were related, that does happen. Where sometimes it happened in my family, where one aunt passed away unexpectedly, and then another aunt just I don't know if it was like sympathy or whatever. She just same thing happened.
That's
very
crazy.
Shortly after. It's like when you hear about like a husband and wife that pass away in the same amount of time. It's just like you kind of get you lose that person you love. So that's awful to lose two people he was very close to right around each other. But yeah, I think once he's back in, if we're going to do this kind of mixed tag thing with real life couples or whatever it is, Charlotte and Andrade against Seth and Becky would be phenomenal. It would be so much better than Applebee's bartender and Southern Belle lady. I don't know. Like, I'm so down on those two because I see a dark future. I see the timeline in which Vince McMahon wakes up and eats his steak wrap with ketchup and goes, well, you know what? Fuck it, Baron Corbin's going to win the title. And then they have Lacey Evans and Baron Corbin on this 2-person power trip of negative charisma. And then I just bash my head against a brick wall until the pain goes away.
My only saving grace in that scenario is that it's just the Universal title, and that doesn't mean shit to me anyway.
But it's being okay. So here's the weird thing: the Universal title is being presented as the top title over the World Heavyweight Championship, which it shouldn't be, but it is because it's Raw. So Raw is always going to have the top belt, even when Triple H had the World Heavyweight Championship on Raw.
Kofi shows up on Raw too. So
right, but they're presenting Seth as greater than Kofi, but then they're presenting Becky as greater than Seth, and it's like this weird power hierarchy thing where like. He's the man's man, and like he's the damsel in distress, and she's saving him, and it's like this, which is fine. I don't have any problem with that. It's just like there's a weird power imbalance where it's like the world, again, old man Jim Cornette here, feels like the World Heavyweight Championship of your promotion should be the top title and be the focus. It shouldn't be. We're this love triangle thing with like a secondary world title and then the real world title. I don't know. The cage, so Stomping Grounds leading up cage match, Kofi Dolph. That was not bad. It was just
the best ending I've ever seen.
That was awesome.
I don't know how I feel about it. Only because it was a good spot.
That's all that spot. Yeah,
it was a good spot.
For him, I thought that was awesome. Like it was something like you would expect from Kofi. You know, like all the shit he does in Rumbles and
exactly.
The selfish part of me wanted him to get the definitive 3 count in the middle of the ring in a cage match with no interference to solidify that he is the world heavyweight champion with no shenanigans.
But this it's also been Kofi, and it's
he's won many matches though legitimately since being
I know,
champion.
but I think that like. I don't like doors on cage matches. Cage matches, again, I'm an 80-year-old man. Cage matches are no interference. You can't get out. I don't even like the climb out thing. I want 2 guys in the middle of the ring, fucking busted open, bleeding, beating the shit out of each other, like
watch AEW.
Right, like Ric Flair and Harley Race used to do in a cage match. You know what I mean? Like there was no interference in those cage matches in those days, and not that there was there, but like you couldn't get in or out. It was like a UFC fight. You were locked in until the fight ended. But I would say it wasn't bad. It was a very cool spot, and it was a great
visual, because Dolph was like so close. Everyone was like, "Oh shit, he's about to win the title."
That was like,
and then last minute, Kofi just.
It was indicative of Dolph's career. He was so close, and then somebody leapfrogged over him. It was almost literal, like they're beating you over the head with the symbolism. Yeah. He was so close and yet so far, and that's kind of.
They almost kind of foreshadowed it in Dolph's promos with what he was saying. That was
good. I mean, nobody would have predicted Kofi doing a fucking suicide dive through the ropes, through the cage door to the floor, and landing on his face. That wasn't expected.
Hey, if you're trying to save your world title,
I guess you don't need a face. There was nobody there to catch him. There was really no padding. It was just it was a good spot. I was just
it would be one thing if Big E caught him or something.
Yeah, but then he wouldn't have hit the floor, so that would have been. I give him credit. It's just that was a weird spot. Like in terms, it was great. It was like a holy shit spot, but then you have to go back and think, you're like, is Kofi okay? Let's skip around here. Speaking of Kofi, the New Day lost to Owens and Zayn. That match was there. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was, we were expecting kind of a shitty show. I don't want to say it was shitty. Everybody wrestled well. The matches were fine. I don't feel like there's no consequence. None of the, like, there was just no, what does Owens and Zayn get a tag team title shot now? What is the
Well, I'll tell you
significance of
what,
them
I'd rather
being?
have them as tag team champions than Bryan and Rowan.
Yeah.
That's got to end.
I like.
Although I would have been perfectly happy with Heavy Machinery winning them too.
Yes, but that you knew wasn't happening.
They're still job guys at this point. But
well, they've been winning matches.
Hysterical.
But they're not going to put it. They're built up to put over somebody right now. They need.
I want a moment where Scotty 2 Hotty comes out and does the worm and the caterpillar together.
That would be pretty great.
That'd be great. Like, let's say Tucker's injured for one night and Otis needs a partner. He brings out Scotty.
I'd be okay with it.
Scotty did the Too Cool dance with his kids the other day.
Oh, that's nice. Tucker impressed me because usually I didn't think much of the guy because Otis has so much charisma and is like the focus of the group. Tucker put on a pretty damn good match.
He did, but Tucker will always be the Jannetty of the group.
Oh, 100%. And also, I think he needs to wear some kind of shorts. Just, I don't know. Like, he went to go pin one of the guys, and all I could see was this big cellulite ass. And I'm like, dude, put some shorts on that thing.
Cassius Ohno needs to do the same thing.
Cassius Ohno needs one of those Saudi Arabian bodysuits that they put Alexa Bliss in. He needs to hold that shit in, dog.
That's fucked up.
I know. Bailey beat Alexa. I'm fine with it. I just like the most interesting story is Alexa and Nikki right now to me.
What the hell is that?
Is what?
Like,
it's ultimately
it's Alexa, using using her and
Cross go from crazy sanity chick to basically a mean girl.
Yeah, it's a big departure.
Like overnight, like what?
They almost pretend like NXT gimmicks didn't exist, except for a few.
Right, they
like
only
the
meant like when Alexa says Bailey peaked in NXT, they're allowed to say that, but they're not allowed to acknowledge Nikki Cross's 2-year or 3-year history in NXT. Yeah, I know.
But I mean, they didn't totally go away from it because she still got her. There's shades of that there.
Yeah,
it comes off as like she's trying to like be friends with Alexa and impress her, and trying to be
Lindsay Lohan,
what she's not.
Yes,
You're right though. It is very Mean Girls. Maybe they're going to try to make fetch happen.
They'll have one of the two is manipulating the other. So far, it seems like Alexa's manipulating Nikki. But if they twist it and it's like really Nikki was
what a twist that would be.
What a twist it would be.
I didn't mean for my voice to go like that.
No, that was Robot Chicken when they were talking about M. Night Shyamalan. What a twist. So I get it. But it would be a hell of a twist if Nikki was like the puppet master behind the scenes pitting Bailey against Alexa and all that. That would be great, but it's probably just going to be as simple as Amanda said, and it's a Mean Girls.
Same thing with Nia, same thing with Nikki.
Right.
Or they do like a whole Carrie situation.
Ooh, yeah. Carrie would be nice where eventually Nikki has to snap and go crazy again, right?
Well, she kind of still is. It's almost like she's Mean Girl backstage, but then when she comes out, she's Nikki Cross, like sanity.
Yeah, like in the ring, she was still like maniacal and
yeah.
So here's something I got to ask because I've been hearing this and I heard a rumor that one of the changes Vince McMahon is looking to make is that there will be no more wrestling during commercial breaks.
It has already started.
So if you are at a live show, like a Raw,
yep,
you're watching a match, they're just going to stop?
Well, what they did last week was they did those 2 out of 3 falls, and then they did 1 fall and then called a break in between falls, which is fine, I guess. It just, they've never really done 2 out of 3. That's not a thing that WWE does. I think it's either CMLL or AAA in Mexico does all 2 out of 3 falls or almost exclusively 2 out of 3 falls. It's just a weird WWE doesn't do it. The NWA title used to be defended in only 2 out of 3 falls matches. So
that's interesting.
It's a new odd thing that WWE started doing. But now they did this week. The one that they did was the club came in and attacked Ricochet. So AJ Styles, I'm not starting the match till you guys get backstage. Sorry about that bad AJ Styles impression, but that
But
was how they got out of it that time.
That's what was worrying me, because I was like, well, I don't like them out here, and they're going to ruin the match. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, them being out there would be a distraction, but it's also just like now that you know it's happening, it's really obvious when they're trying to break these things up for a commercial.
By the way, I also agree with Amanda that Ricochet should not have lost the very next night, even if it's to AJ Styles. I don't care. You don't have your person win the championship and then lose the next night.
Now, I don't necessarily agree with that, and I'll tell you why. Because if this is leading to now AJ Styles being a contender for the title, and then Ricochet winning the big one at the pay-per-view, I'm okay with that. At the end of the day,
because then he
AJ
wouldn't have been able
Styles
to
should be better than Ricochet. I mean, you know what I mean? But it was a hell of a fucking match, and I like the show of respect at the end. I mean, that match was amazing.
See, what was the finish? How did it? Was it clean? Relatively clean?
100% clean.
Did Ricochet slip up? What was the cause?
Ricochet went for the finish off the top, the 650 or whatever.
Yep.
He rolls through it. AJ clocks him with a right, and then leaps over the top, the ropes to the outside, and then does the phenomenal forearm in, hits him clean, pins him in the middle of the ring.
Huh. All right.
But it was well done. The way I'm explaining it sucks. You should go back and watch it.
But AJ got out of the way. Right?
I think the mutual respect at the end is definitely foreshadowing something.
This whole thing is going to be because they're putting AJ in a position where he's almost like the babyface with a heel club and a babyface Ricochet,
which I don't understand because those two were face last week. So now they're going to be heel. I know we flip flop every week, but.
Well, by the way, where the fuck is Finn Balor our Intercontinental Champion?
Well, isn't that technically a SmackDown title? He's not one of the 24.
He's
not one of the 24 people invited with the wild card clause. It just keeps going up every week, where SmackDown's roster is just taking over Raw.
The brand split.
Yeah, the fucking brand split. Give me a break. So Sunday night they drew 6,000, 6,500. Last night for Raw they drew 3,500. They're tarping off a lot of areas and a lot of arenas. What can we take from that? What do you think? What are your thoughts on the low attendance?
Considering that the takeaway for Stomping Grounds was more positive, then maybe the next one won't be so bad as far as.
Maybe. I mean, that's very possible that the numbers for the next one are good. But also, I think by virtue of the next show being Extreme Rules, which is a more established pay-per-view than Stomping Grounds, it's probably already going to draw more anyway. Maybe, it
didn't help that it was a stupid name for like Great Balls of Fire.
Great Balls of Fire. Yeah, we're still waiting for Great Balls of Fire 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like WWE's in a weird spot where they have some of the best wrestlers in the world, and then none of the creative prowess to use these people correctly.
But they do, because the pay-per-view was good and it was creatively done well. Just why can't that?
Yeah, it was wrestled well. The guys put on good matches.
Yeah. The
rest of the stuff in between, I just don't give a fuck about anymore. It just doesn't. If Seth Rollins faced Baron Corbin 1,000,000 times, none of it would matter, because either Seth Rollins beats a guy he should be beating, or Baron Corbin wins the title and it's just as worthless as when Jinder Mahal won the title and nobody gave a fuck.
Oh my God. I forgot about that.
Right. No, sorry. Canada's finest. But it's just, I want stuff to mean things on my TV show.
This is how I watched Raw last night. All right. The beginning, Seth and Becky, right? They came out. What's the name? Corbin and Lacey came out. I shut it off. I didn't I didn't watch it again until the AJ Styles Ricochet match.
And we've talked.
Dude,
we've talked for half an hour.
Night until then.
A couple years ago, this would have been a big deal, and now we haven't talked about it for half an hour. The fucking Undertaker came back,
Yeah.
and nobody gives a shit.
Well, no, I don't think nobody gives a shit. I mean, it was definitely a very cool moment. You definitely did not expect it to happen.
Right.
It was a great spot, and Taker looked great.
So what is this supposed to be? Him and Reigns against Shane and Drew?
Yeah, I don't really see, but that's the thing. Like, I think it's cool and all, but there's like no fucking reason behind it other than the fact that Taker showed up on Raw.
But
like,
then who?
Well, a lot of people are saying it's setting up Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt at SummerSlam.
See,
for like the passing of the torch.
I heard.
Like,
Well,
that would be cool.
That should have happened at WrestleMania 31 in San Diego.
That's very true, but it's happening. So,
yeah. Well, but I also heard people say this could be a way to spin off Roman Reigns Undertaker 2, a rematch from their WrestleMania, which nobody would fucking want to see. The other two options are the Undertaker feuds with Drew or the Undertaker feuds with Shane for the 8,000th time.
No.
It would be nice if it was leading to Bray Wyatt and Bray finally gets that big fucking win that's way overdue. It would be nice, but I don't know. That is a wait and see.
Okay.
Yeah.
We didn't even get a Funhouse segment this week.
We got the characters in the background.
Yes, I saw that. I didn't catch that at first.
I didn't catch that. What characters in the background?
One of the puppets was behind The Miz in the backstage segment, and one of them was
behind Kofi.
Kofi in a backstage segment.
Fucking A, I missed that.
And they didn't do anything. They were just literally just sitting there in the background.
No, but it's basically signifying that he's there. You know what I mean?
He's instead of being like
someone's gonna let him in. You know,
he's there. Yeah.
So what do you guys make of this whole Seth Rollins, Will Ospreay Twitter thing?
Oh, Seth Rollins took the biggest L over the weekend on Twitter. Holy shit!
I can care less.
He got roasted.
I'm just curious. Like, where's all this all of a sudden come from?
Well, because Seth fucked up.
Becky took over his Twitter.
She must, because Seth fucked up and tweeted, "The WWE has the best wrestling on the planet." And the consensus is, if you've got Lacey Evans and Baron Corbin as your main eventers, you objectively do not have the best wrestling on the planet. And Will Ospreay's like, I'm better than you, Seth. And Seth is like, yeah, well, Ricochet's better than you. And then Will's like, well, why didn't you say you were better than me, you dummy? And then Seth is like, well, I make more money than you. And Will's like, yeah, but I'm still a better wrestler. So like he was just, every time Seth said something, he dug his hole deeper and deeper. It was just like, dude, take the L on this one and just let it pass. You got to let it pass. It was the most ridiculous thing. And then Baron Corbin chimes in, he's like, well, I've wrestled more matches than Will Ospreay. And it's like, well, nobody cares about you, Baron Corbin. Fuck. Hey, we were talking about how little we care for Baron Corbin.
Yeah, I can join in on that.
That's a weekly segment at this point. Should we answer fan questions or emails or tweets or whatever they are?
You have anything?
I see you're not carrying it up into loathing.
Well, let me put it this way: we're one pay-per-view from the darkest timeline where everybody has the evil Spock goatees because Baron and Lacey win the two top titles in the WWE.
I thought
not
that was
winning.
happening Sunday for a moment.
Yeah,
They're not winning. They can't win.
That's exactly why it would happen. Oh, they can't win.
That sounds like desperation there.
No, desperation was having Undertaker at Raw. You know, it was desperation.
Oh, yeah.
It was a ratings move. That's what it was. Because there was no hype behind it. It was just a complete surprise. Which, not that I'm complaining, because I'm the one that always says the art of surprises is gone now. But, you know, so I was happy for that. But
yeah,
surprises are good.
No one called it.
No, but do we, like, after the last match, do we want to see more Undertaker?
I think with the tag match, you'll be fine. And also not Goldberg giving himself a concussion.
Maybe it's a bit of a redemption because of what
that. You know, that could be it, to go out there and show he can still go, and it was just a bad day.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to operate in a 105-degree condition.
No, I mean, he's the Undertaker, so we're always going to give him a little bit of a pass. But maybe this is his chance to redeem himself a little bit.
Well, listen, and according to everything, it was really not him.
According to him, it was Goldberg. So we'll see. This is the chance to see. Was it really just all Goldberg?
Yeah.
Extreme Rules. Big tag match.
Yeah.
Goldberg's probably never been holding his fingers for a bad match.
Two of the marquee matches are who gives a shit tag matches.
Yeah.
And then the third
But
one
it's
is going to be Kofi Joe, which is actually good.
To say that you don't give a shit because you kind of want to see the Undertaker, though.
Oh, I'm always up for Undertaker.
You know, that's the thing. They know the Undertaker, but that's a diminishing return too. If he has another stinker, that's 2 in a row.
Yeah.
But he's got Roman there to kind of help make sure it doesn't become a stinker.
Because oddly enough, the only thing that I watched from the Saudi show was because it was Undertaker versus Goldberg.
There you go.
Even though it ended the way it ended up, whatever. But that was strictly the only thing that I had interest in that whole thing.
Well, yeah, because it was a house show. They don't get that. People like that's the thing. Those Saudi shows are house shows for the Saudi Arabian government that they just have to broadcast. Nobody gives a shit about those shows except people who live in that region of the world.
You know, I just thought of something. What would you guys think of a Roman versus Goldberg thing?
No.
Would be terrible.
Because they would do that spot where the two guys would try and spear each other at the same time, and then
They'll kill each other.
it would be a double down, and then they would try and crawl back at 9. Yeah, they're just both concussed because they get head-to-head.
Shot.
Here's the thing. I as much as I would not necessarily be opposed to that match, I don't know that we necessarily need Goldberg back in the ring.
No.
I would still get excited if his music hit and he did come back to redeem himself. You know, because I am a fan of Goldberg, but I don't, you know, it's just like, it's the same with Undertaker. It's like, I don't need him to get back into the ring. I don't. But if he's going to, I'm going to get excited for it because it's Undertaker. You know, Goldberg too. I was a big fan for, you know, Goldberg during the Monday Night Wars. You know, I had Austin and Rock and on USA, and then I'd go to TNT and I had Goldberg, Hogan, and Hall and Nash and X-Pac, and I was, you know, in all my glory. So
Goldberg was never meant to wrestle a 20-something minute long match.
Ever.
Yeah.
The character, the wrestling skills, all that stuff together he was quick, he was explosive. He had to get out there and hit the spear and the jackhammer and wear you out right away because that was his style.
Right.
And if he went past that, he was gassed out, and then you could get the advantage.
In
WCW,
when he was undefeated for however long his
he beat everybody in 2 fucking minutes.
I was going to say there was not one match that went over 2 or 3 minutes. There were times his entrance, most of the time his entrance was longer than the match.
I think the match with Hogan
would also made it exciting because he was so fucking badass. You know what I mean? And it's like it took Scott Hall and Nash to use a taser, you know, to get his first pinfall. You know what I mean?
And his longest matches were with Sting and DDP.
Regal.
And Regal was an early one, and it was a long one because he made him chain wrestle, and then Regal got fired. But like his most high-profile big matches that were the longest, I believe, were Sting, Goldberg, and then DDP Goldberg.
Yeah,
and he won both of them, I think. And those were the ones you remember because he had those two guys helping him out.
And the thing about Goldberg is, like, he was marketed so great. Built him up to build the undefeated streak, and also the way the commentary would go.
Yeah.
Matches.
Listen, we've said it many times over. A lot of times the commentary is what puts a character over. I think Stone Cold Steve Austin did a great job getting himself over, but the Austin 316 thing was a fluke, really, when he did it in his promo. Yeah. And then the next night, you know, there were all these Austin 316, but it was Jim Ross that got it over. You know, JR, just the way that he brought that side of Austin to life during a match is what got him over. You know, and there's only certain guys, like I'm starting to feel like I always botch his fucking name, but the guy at NXT that I'm starting
Mauro
Mauro, is going to be that guy that will get people over because his excitement is contagious.
Well, you know what JR didn't do? JR didn't go, by God, it's Rattlesnake time. Use the hashtag Austin316 to follow along on social media. Like, what the fuck? Be sure to tout about Stone Cold Steve Austin. Everybody remember, tout back out. No, shut the fuck up. We don't care about that's the thing. Right now, they're so focused because social media is the only place they have engagement. They've got a whole bunch of Twitter followers and Facebook fans and Instagram follows, and their YouTube does very, very well. And the ratings and the attendance are so low that they're focusing on this fucking social media fad that they're just going to keep losing live viewers because they're focusing on this. We've got to have a great 30 seconds for an Instagram video instead of we need a good show.
I want to hear the commentators talk about the actual match going on in the ring than nonsense.
But why when WWE Smackdown Live is trending #1 in the Northeast? Like, what the like, who gives a shit?
In the Northeast quadrant of some state.
You know what's amazing too, though, and something that just makes me so happy? The highest rated segments on all WWE programming right now is R-Truth.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, he is just so goddamn funny, and I'm starting to enjoy the 24/7 thing. I mean, listen, it's a joke title.
Right.
The fact that R-Truth is a 9-time champion and the fucking belt isn't even 30 days old.
Oh, I can't wait till he wins 16.
Yeah.
But I do like at the wedding and like just the odd places happening, and he's fucking hilarious. So I get it, and I'm starting to appreciate it more. And not for nothing, it's getting him so over that it's only going to propel him, with Vince. So it's a good deal.
Oh, yes.
That's what I thought they would do when they introduced the title. It's still god-awful ugly, but...
Oh, it's a terrible belt.
The funny thing is about that wedding segment is that they kind of teased Maxwell pinning Drake Maverick again.
That would be something.
It would be so great if they recreated that feud in WWE.
Oh, I was so excited for that, actually.
I think it's got to be eventually.
Oh, and also, Spud, I got to say, man, Mazel Tov on the wife.
Yeah.
Good job,
Oh, yeah,
man.
he's got this, like, hot Indian wife. Yeah, good for him.
But is she also as short as he is? How tall is he?
He's very
pretty
short.
short.
He's very
I
short.
think she's taller than him.
By like a little bit.
I've seen him at an event. I'm like, I was like several inches taller.
But
he's
these segments are what happens. This is very reminiscent of what they just do back in the old school wrestling days, is you didn't have somebody lording over a segment, writing a script. You've got to stick to this script to the letter because we have to hit our camera angles and all this other horse shit that Kevin Dunn does that nobody gives a fuck about. It was, you guys have 2 minutes. We're going into this wedding, and there's going to be a title. Go. And you have talented people who have experience in the wrestling business, who have a lot of charisma and good timing and all this other stuff, making great segments. Because it's not just Drake, and it's not just R-Truth. You see Matt Hardy in the background reacting like Matt Hardy would react. You've got other characters involved. When they pulled that shot up, they were walking down the aisle, and Drake is walking, but he gets stopped, and all you see is the back of the referee in the stripes. Yeah. And he looks up, and he has this oh shit look, and then he gets rolled up. Like that's what you get.
Become the most feared finisher.
I mean, the roll up is the small package is the new pile driver. What the fuck?
Yeah,
but it's just
the new RKO.
Yeah, but the camera. Look at how good the camera guys do in these segments. Look at how the background players do. Look at the main people involved in the segment. The referee on Twitter sent a picture of him driving, and he says at Drake Maverick or whatever the fuck it is, "Great wedding. Thank you, R-Truth, for the invite." Just like this fucking thank you for the invite to the wedding. And that was funny. Like, just these little things.
When Drake won the title from R-Truth, he stole the referee's car.
Oh, yeah. He dressed up like Carmella, and then he stole the car. Which is, again, these aren't the things that if you had a team of 36 people sitting there at typewriters or whatever the fuck, they're not coming up with this stuff. It's just organic. Hey, what would be funny in this moment?
See, I'll be honest. I R-Truth is great. He's become like a fucking national treasure at this point. And
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't even be mad if he was a world champion. I really wouldn't.
he was an NWA champion, man.
Well, he was end up Ron the Truth Killings, yeah.
But I think if
That was
they,
a different character though.
yeah, it was a way different. But I mean, anybody can be a world
I'll tell
champion.
you, they need to have some kind of segment where, like, right after he wins the 16th,
He needs to be like dressed up like Ric Flair or something. Absolutely, he comes out in the robe with the blonde hair.
He's the greatest European
Yeah,
champion.
the European 7-Eleven title or whatever he called it. He called it something stupid.
And drop the this is the greatest moment of my life.
Truth Flair.
Put that cigarette out. And they recreate that Rumble 92 promo just with him and Carmella and like Tom Phillips or something. But it would be great. So I was saying, I don't want to just, because I said something weird. I said anybody can be world champion. I want to clarify that. Anybody can be world champion if they're built up properly. So if you've got a guy like R-Truth, who they did this with him and John Cena a couple years ago, so it's not impossible.
Yeah.
He could be built up to get real wins, not just 24/7 title wins. He could be built up to be a serious contender. And then at one point, that's where he goes, boom, I'm not this funny, silly guy anymore. I'm putting the work in. I'm winning the title.
Ultimately, is my biggest problem with Jinder's push is that it kind of came out of nowhere and he went from to champion.
And Joe's push currently?
Zero buildup, you know?
Yeah, he was literally losing enhancement matches the week before he won the world title. So the whole thing didn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do we have any questions? We got way deep.
Deep into the weeds.
Cat's not on, so we haven't checked the box.
We don't have the
Amanda,
email
did
box.
you get any to your thing?
No, let me double check.
So in the meantime, I'll let you guys know if you're new from SoundCloud or any of the other services. We do a mailbag. So it's AskTheWarReport at gmail.com, or you use hashtag AskTheWarReport. And we will read your question on air, answer your question. Every question that's submitted, your name is put into a drawing for a free WrestleRumble.com pay-per-view Pickem entry. So WrestleRumble.com is one of our partners for years and years now. Amanda is that's how we first met Amanda. And WrestleRumble.com is a pay-per-view Pick'em contest. Usually you pay for an entry. You can pay for up to 3 entries at a time, I believe. Every month, WWE has a pay-per-view or an NXT takeover, something that's big enough to warrant a contest. You pay for your entry, you submit your picks, and then you can win. If you finish in the top 10, you win a prize, whether it's a gift card, there's been cash, championship belts, tickets to WWE pay-per-views. There's a lot of different merch you could win, various things. So the prizes change every month. But WrestleRumble.com, you'll get a free pay-per-view pick'em if you're the name or the email address, rather, we select from whoever asked the question. So get your questions in. Once a month, we make a drawing, and then the new drawing starts the next month. So ask a question after every pay-per-view, and then you'll know you've made an entry. So we do not have any this week, which is fine because we had a week there where we were out of commission. So I think we've got to get our engagement re-rolling and back up so people remember that we are live.
Yeah.
We'll be
Much like the engagement of those two fans that met on TagMeADate.
ding, 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 ding. Hey, key words here.
Ew.
No, but we're doing. I like that we're able to track the numbers. We're doing pretty well on SoundCloud now. It's good to see people listening to the show because our only outlet for a while was YouTube. So now we've got other ways of getting out there. So if you have a question about not just WWE, can be New Japan, could be AEW, could be the Indies, whatever you want. Ask as long as it's wrestling related. I don't want you to. What's Alexa Bliss's shoe size? What's Charlotte's bra? Nobody cares. Ask a wrestling related question.
Worry about her shoe size.
Yeah, some fucking weirdo on the
I will
internet.
say this, since you brought up Alexa, if anyone has not had the opportunity, the Alexa Bliss 365 is up on the network, and it was pretty cool. A lot of cool stuff. So
Yeah, I wanted to watch that.
Yeah, I got it. I heard it got good reviews. I'll have to check. I saw a couple clips from it, but I don't know. I think. Do you think they're gonna keep this as a singles thing? Speaking of them, we'll discuss that for a little while. Are they going to just keep it as a singles thing where Alexa or Nikki is chasing Bayley, or is it going to turn into Alexa and Nikki eventually winning the women's tag team titles?
Oh, I don't know.
Because that could be an interesting dynamic where like they beat the Iconics, but then they lose to the Kabuki Warriors, which I still think is a dumb name, even if they picked it.
It's a terrible
anyway.
name.
But, by the way, for those of you who think that two Japanese people actually sat down and came up with the name Kabuki Warriors by themselves, I've got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. What happened was some WWE writer whose name is Chad or Chaz or Trent or some stupid white guy name gave them a list of 20 tag team names. Yeah, Tucker. So Tucker came over with his sheet of 20 names where it was like Hirohito's Legion and the Kabuki Warriors and all this happy horse shit, rice baby. And they had to pick the least offensive name off of the list. They didn't pick a name.
That's a Japanese word.
Yeah, could you imagine
Kabuki
that? Like,
Warrior sounds like a sex move.
Kabuki Warriors.
Well, they didn't use the word sushi or something.
It sounds like a show I would see in Las Vegas after Celtic Thunder. So there's Celtic Thunder with the tap dancing, and then the Kabuki Warriors come out with their masks and shit. I don't know.
What's weird, though? Why is it that
performance?
Why is it that I think that name is stupid, but I kind of like Kyrie and Io's name in NXT, the Sky Pirates? Why?
Because that's a fucking cool name.
Yeah.
And you can tell somebody Asian actually came up with it because it's two English words that don't quite go together, but when they put them together, they go together. That's like, they some of the tag teams in New Japan.
Cop out because they just can't think of anything original.
Sky Pirates is great. That's like, Gallows and Anderson called their finisher the Magic Killer. And that apparently, in Japanese, that probably sounds Magic Akira. Somebody. I apologize to every Asian person.
I never minded that. I think it was okay.
But you know what I mean? It's like one of those phrases that really, if you said it, like if you crumpled up a piece of paper in your office and threw it into the trash and you hit the basket, you don't go Magic Killer. Like that's just not. Yeah. It's not a celebration. But Sky Pirates, I could kind of get. Sky Pirates is a good tag team name.
I do enjoy that. Much more than Kabuki Warriors.
The Viking experience.
The Kabuki experience.
That's what I was going to say. At least it was a Kabuki experience.
The Kabuki Raiders.
The Kabuki Raiders. They just started like Ninja Gaiden. Ken and Ryu, the Street Fighters, the Double Dragons, Billy and Jimmy. Like, what other stupid names can we come up for their tag team?
Oh, Double Dragon. That was a good game.
That was
Oh, get sued out their pants.
Those were the days.
Seconds.
So what do we got, Steve?
Does Taker show up again on SmackDown tonight?
Very possible.
I don't think so.
I mean, it's wild card
on SmackDown tonight. Like, is there any? What's the big promotion for tonight?
Give me 2 seconds here. I know Kofi Kingston's gonna confront Owens. Right off the top of my head. Not Owens. Jesus.
Joe. Yeah.
You know what? The only problem I have is that I don't mind a Kofi Joe program for the title at all. However, I wish they would have given a little more time and built it towards SummerSlam and not whatever Extreme Rules garbage pay-per-view that nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah, even I think Ricochet.
Make SummerSlam important again.
Ricochet and Joe should have gone out to Extreme Rules and then Ricochet beat Joe in an Extreme Rules match or something. And then Joe goes for the world title. I
also had heard that they want to build to a Ricochet versus Mysterio match. And if they do that, that's a SummerSlam.
Ray's got to get healthy.
Well, yeah. But that says SummerSlam more so than Extreme Rules to me.
Oh, for sure. I hear Ray
they killed it when they fought each other in Lucha Underground. They killed it.
Yeah. But Ray rather should be coming back from his shoulder injury sometime in July, from what I hear.
But who knows? Dominic may end up, getting there.
I want Dominic to be involved. I got to see if this kid can work. I know he's only 18, but he's been training with Lance Storm. And Lance
Good
is a very
trainer.
good
Better trainer. I mean, shit.
You really can't.
Can't get much better than that.
Nowadays, there are a lot of good schools out there, but I mean, Lance is like, you're learning from the professional. One last thing before we finish up. For those of you who want outside WWE wrestling, Wrestle Circus did a live event Sunday night, and they streamed it. It was very good. Tessa Blanchard wrestled Scorpio Sky from SCU.
She's great. Orange
Cassidy wrestled, so you know who doesn't love Orange Cassidy aside from Eric and Jim Cornette. And also this past Monday, just yesterday, MLW Major League Wrestling put out their weekly show. The Von Erichs made their debut in the main event.
No shit.
So they were out there. The sons of Kevin Von Erich, I believe. I think they're both sons of Kevin, or one's the son of Kevin, one's the son of Carrie. I'm sorry, I don't really know the history. But when they get out there, they look like Von Erichs, and they wrestle like Von Erichs, and they use the claw. And there's one of them that's about 6 inches taller than the other one, and he's gonna be they're both gonna be superstars. But this one Von Erich is gonna be a goddamn world champion. You can already tell.
He just has it.
Yeah. These guys worked in Japan. They didn't just what I appreciate about the Von Erichs, these kids, is they understood that with their name, they could go anywhere they wanted to. But they chose to work the indies, to go to Japan, to live in Japan, to work there and train there, and then come back to the United States. So they're doing things the right way. They're not just hot-shotting themselves into the big time based on the Von Erich name. I'm excited to see what they can do now that they're back in the U.S. and have a little bit more notoriety from MLW, because then maybe other promotions will start booking them more. I'm curious to see what's going on.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, I think that brings us right to the top of the hour, folks.
Yeah. Are there any businessy things that we need to get out of the way, or did you already address those?
That is the intro.
My business.
Right. Yeah. So big week. We plowed through a lot of stuff. We'll be back next week for another round of it. But for those of you, again, if you're a new listener, if you're just finding us on YouTube, or you're just finding us on Google Play Podcasts or
SoundCloud,
or
soon to be iTunes,
once Apple approves us.
I figured it out.
Oh, excellent. Well, I hope you subscribe, because there's a lot of options for you to subscribe now between YouTube and the other podcast services. If you prefer the live show and you prefer the video, you got to go to YouTube. That's the only way to get it, youtube.com. Type in tag me a date, all one word, squish it together. That's how you get to our channel. You can subscribe, hit the bell. You got to do both, because YouTube is dumb like that. We're going to get demonetized because I said that. All right.
Demonetized and pulled off the page like did nothing.
As if we weren't demonetized 5 minutes in when I started dropping F-bombs. But anyway, go to YouTube, subscribe. You can see our past shows. The archive is all there. Nothing's hidden behind a paywall. Subscribe on your podcast app. Go to tagmeadate.com or download the Tag Me a Date app. We are waiting for approval on the iTunes App Store for the new update.
Should be a quick fix,
right? But I mean, for the app itself.
For the app.
Oh yeah,
the dating app is. We have to clarify now. We're in the future, so for the dating app, we're still waiting for Apple to approve the latest update. And then there's the Google Play Store, which has that update already seeded and ready to go.
Correct. Already approved.
And again, it's Tag Me a Date. You'll find us on social media. You'll find us on Instagram and Twitter under Tag Me a Date. That's where you use hashtag AskTheWarReport to ask us a question, or AskTheWarReport@gmail.com. You can ask us a question. Lots of ways to get involved. And again, tagmeadate.com, whether you use the Android app or the Apple app, or you just go to good old-fashioned tagmeadate.com in your browser on your mobile device, your tablet, or your computer. It's supported on all those devices. It's free to sign up, free to send messages, free to match. If you're listening to the show, you already know, like 2 minutes in, Steve dropped a bombshell on us that we have our first match and first potential wedding where Miss Elizabeth asked, "Will you marry me?" And then he goes, "Ooh yeah." But anyway, it was great. It
We'll
works.
talk off air about that. I got an idea.
There we go. So this is great. It works. It's free. Get on board before we charge money for it, because I mean, this could very well be a premium service. So we're doing something for free because we're wrestling fans. We understand you're a wrestling fan too, and you want to find your match, and we want to help you do it. So tagmeadate.com is free. The social media, the subscriptions, it's all free. We're not putting anything behind a paywall. So go find Tag Me a Date on social media. Find us on your podcast apps, on YouTube, all that stuff. We'll be back live on YouTube, 7 o'clock on Eastern time on Tuesday evening. So next Tuesday, 7 o'clock on Eastern time. Adjust your clocks as needed to find the appropriate time. And thank you so much for listening. Again, it's been great to see the support we're getting on these new platforms. Share the show with your friends. Tell them about it. And we'll be back next week live on YouTube. And then later, probably the next day, I would say, or the day after, on the podcast apps. Look for the War Report. Look for Tag Me a Date, whatever you need to do. We will see you next week live right here on YouTube, on the Tag Me a Date YouTube, for another edition of the War Report. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. We'll see you next week.